Okay, so now we're going to look at how to create a call graph from the execution of a program using DMON. We're going to use a very simple program. One thing to note is that your SOC that you're connected to must have an instruction trace facility in order to be able to generate the call graph. So first let's go and load our program. Click on the icon, select the file. I'm going to select a very simple file. Let's see, test continue PM. We're connected to an E698 PM, so I'm going to use the test continue program, which is a very simple program that outputs a piece of text, and it runs very quickly. So we've selected that program. Let's load it. The program has now been downloaded with an Ethernet connection to this particular E698 PM, so the program's downloaded. Okay, so what do we have to do? We have to enable the level 2 cache. L2 cache enable, and we need to enable the instruction trace, which is the itrace enable command. Itrace enable. Okay, so now we've enabled itrace. So it's waiting now for the program to be executed. Let's hit the run command. Okay, we can see over here, program started, first hello, about to write watch data, and then second hello, and it exits normally. So very simple program. The instruction trace dynamic display has collected information here and output to the screen the number of times various routines have been called. So let's go and then try the call graph function. The call graph can be used by simply specifying call graph. What it does then is it should generate a graph of all the functions called within the C program. This includes library calls, but there may be far more than you need. It includes the calls that are used to initialize the environment that are automatically put in when you link the program. So you get everything if you just type call graph. Some other options are, and if we do help call graph, we'll see them. We can specify a symbol after call graph. That symbol becomes the root of the display. So let's try that. Let's type call graph and specify the routine or the function called main, which is the main function within this program. Now let's see what we have. We should have at the top of the tree function main, and then every call underneath it, including all the library calls. We can see calls here to pthread, mutexes, and swrites. So that is another way to use the call graph. A third way is to use call graph and specify the root, but also to put in a filter. And the filter consists of a sequence of either keywords or regexes. The regex will be used to match the function names, and any function names that match will be excluded from the call graph display. One of the keywords you can use, there are 4 in total. The standard lib, std lib, which will exclude all the standard library functions. You can specify an underscore, and that will remove not only the standard library functions, but indeed a lot of the initialization functions that also begin with an underscore. You can specify ecos if you're using, if you're debugging a program under the ecos real-time operating system, that will exclude all the ecos library calls. Or indeed you can specify ortems, which would exclude all the ortems library calls. In this case, we're just using standard C program built against the standard library. So let's use the filter std lib and see what that generates. So in actual fact, when we display this, we get just the main routine and the second hello, which are the only two functions in this program. So that's a very brief overview on how to use the callgraph function within DMON.